The News 18 Pulse, One Nation, One Election survey. Will One Nation, One Election reduce disruptions? Whether it is traffic jams, school closures. Remember, a bulk of the polling stations, for example, when the general election happened, there were over 10 lakh polling stations. A large majority of them are schools, and schools have to be shut down if you have to conduct polls. So people were asked, will it reduce the disruption caused by the shutdown of schools and other public places that are required for the conduct of elections? 81% saying yes, it will reduce the disruption, 13% saying no, and 6% saying not sure. And one final finding that we have from the News 18 One Nation, One Election survey that we conducted over a period of 3 weeks across all regions of the country. Will voters get confused while picking a Lok Sabha candidate and an assembly candidate at the same time? Here, 39% said that yes, they could likely get confused. 49% said no, there is no chance of them getting confused. So this one question, there seems to be a bit of uncertainty, almost 40% saying they could be confused if they have to choose two sets of candidates, one for the Vidhan Sabha, one for the Lok Sabha. Let me first go across to our Aman is joining us, our political editor. Pallavi Ghosh, senior editor, is also joining us. Aman, so on the day that the first meeting of the Joint Parliamentary Committee is happening right now in the Parliament complex, we have the details and the survey results from the News 18 Pulse One Nation, One Election. There seems to be overwhelming support for the idea of One Nation, One Election. And yet, why are opposition parties saying that this is anti-democratic, anti-federal, and this will not fly?
Well, Zaka, see, obviously an overwhelming mandate is also because, larger issues you see till 1967, we had One Nation, One Election in this country under the reign of the Congress. So the Congress today saying that it's anti-federal or anti-constitutional is rather ironic. That said, look at Delhi. Delhi will going to be under Model Code of Conduct for the next 1 month. It was under Model Code of Conduct for last year for almost 2 months during the Lok Sabha elections. So this repeated disruption to developmental work, to all kinds of activities come to an halt when the elections are held all over the time, all over the year. So that is the main reason for the government to bring in One Nation, One Election, to cut down the time, to cut down the money spent. And people are intelligent enough. We've seen that in Delhi. People vote for the Lok Sabha for Mr. Modi, in the assembly election for Mr. Kejriwal. We've seen that in Odisha. We've seen that in Andhra Pradesh. But the one question, Zaka, where there's 39% people are saying people will get confused. That is the reason that mainly the opposition parties, especially the regional parties, feel that they will be at a big disadvantage. For example, a Samajwadi party, if it has to fight 402 assembly constituencies and 80 Lok Sabha constituencies together, does it have a leader like Mr. Modi who has a pan-India presence? Does it have the cadre? Does it have those resources? So, the regional parties feel that BJP, a party like BJP, who is a pan-India, very popular leader, has resources, has the cadre, even the Congress for that matter, have an inherent advantage in a One Nation, One Election. Regional party like Samajwadi Party, RJD, YSRCP, BJD, all these parties fear that in One Nation, One Election, they stand to lose out, they will become irrelevant over time, and people may just vote for the big national leader even in the state. So I think that is the big dichotomy here, and the government will have a hard time convincing the opposition parties on this because they don't have the numbers in the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. We saw that during the voting as well. This is not the 370 bill in which parties will vote across the, across the party lines and vote in the name of something like national interest. What we saw in 370, the government could get the abrogation of 370 passed. This bill is different. With the opposition, the whole INDI camp seems to be united against One Nation, One Election.
All right. Before we go to Pallavi, we're getting a piece of breaking news on this JPC meeting that is happening right now. On